In a village where electricity arrived 3 years ago, there is a room, and in that room, there is a bulb that believes he is the most important thing that has ever existed. This is his story. His name, if bulbs had names, would be something proud, something large. He was screwed into a rusted socket above a wooden cot, and every evening when the switch clicked, the family looked up, not at him, not consciously, but toward the light, and the light was him. So in his mind, the looking was for him. The child could read because of him. The grandmother could spin until 9 at night because of him. The father, coming home from the fields, felt something ease in his chest when he walked into the lit room. The bulb took credit for that ease. He looked at the switch. All you do is open and close. He looked at the wire. You're just a pipe. You carry what I produce. He looked at the socket. You only matter because I'm in you. None of them replied. This is the first kind of pride. The kind that mistakes the form for the source. The kind that looks at the river and calls it rain. The bulb was not alone in this. Across the village, every part of the electrical system had built a small throne inside itself and was sitting on it, quite pleased. The transformer at the edge of the village hummed through every night. He was large and heavy, and considered himself the brain of the operation. He took the high voltage current from the main line and stepped it down to something the village could use without burning. Without me, he reasoned, civilization is impossible here. He looked at the main line coming from the substation 30 kilometers away and saw only a long wire, a delivery system, something that carried what he gave meaning to. The circuit breaker considered himself the guardian, the responsible one, the one who decided whether the current flowed at all. Remove me, he told himself, and the whole system is a hazard. The meter counted every unit that passed through him. He was the witness to all of it, and he believed that without witnesses, nothing is real. So he, the meter, was making everything real, and the earth wire, buried, invisible, never thanked, had one quiet thought. If I weren't here, someone would die. He was right, but he was still thinking about himself when he thought it. Each component had mistaken its role for its identity. This is what happens when you forget you're part of a system. You start believing you are the system. Then in July, during the monsoon, lightning struck the substation 30 kilometers away. The power went out. The transformers stopped humming. The circuit breaker had nothing to guard. The meter had nothing to count. The switch was clicked on, and nothing happened. The socket held the bulb, but the bulb did nothing. The bulb sat in perfect darkness for 3 hours. He could not glow. He tried. Nothing. He had never felt small before. Now he felt less than small. He felt like an object. A glass shape filled with gas and metal coils, and nothing more. For 3 hours, he was only a shape, and in that silence, something cracked open in him. His name was Jairaj. He came the next morning, on a bicycle, with tools and a small notebook, and the distinctive calm of someone who has fixed things for 30 years and stopped being surprised by anything. He fixed a corroded connection near the meter. He tightened the earth wire. He checked the socket the bulb sat in. Then he sat on the cot and drank the tea the grandmother brought him. The child asked him, which part matters most? The wire, the bulb, the transformer? Jairaj said, none of them. Not on their own. The current comes from somewhere none of us can point to. These parts, the wires, the switch, the bulb, they're just shapes the power takes to travel. The current is the real thing. Everything else is just its journey taking form. He cycled back down the dirt road and was gone. He had not meant it as a lesson. He had just told the truth. But the bulb had heard every word. When power was restored that evening and the current entered him again, the bulb felt it differently. He felt it as something entering him. not something he was generating, something passing through him, taking the shape of his filament, emerging as light on the other side. He was not the source. He had never been the source. He was a form, a shape the power used for a particular purpose, in a particular room. And this thought, instead of making him feel less, did something unexpected. It freed him. The understanding came in layers. The first layer arrived simply. The current running through him was not a foreign thing filling him from outside. It was his actual nature, briefly localized. The way a wave is the ocean in a particular place, at a particular moment, with a particular height. The wave and the ocean are not separate things. The separation was only in the description. The bulb and the current were not two things. There was only one current, expressing itself in many forms. Every wire in every building, every component in every system, every light in every window. The same current, wearing different materials. The second layer answered this. The forms are real. The transformer's ability to step down voltage is a real and specific thing. The bulb's distinct filament resistance is what produces light, and not just heat. The earth wire's placement underground is what makes the whole system safe. Oneness does not erase difference. The current is the universal. The components are real entities within it. Neither cancels the other. Then came a layer deeper than thinking. The bulb started asking, where does the current come from? From the substation. Where does the substation get it? From a generator. What runs the generator? Water falling. What makes the water fall? Gravity. Rain. The sun pulls moisture from the ocean. What runs the sun? He could not reach the end of it. So he stopped trying to reach the end and felt the current in him. The light is emerging. The grandmother's face was warm in it. The child is reading. He was the instrument through which the source reached this specific room, these specific people, at this specific moment in their lives. This is when something like love arrived, not love as a feeling, love as a structural fact. He was useful to the source. The source was flowing through him toward the world. He had not earned this. He had just been placed here and made well enough to carry it. He was not loving the current. The current was reaching the room through him. And the deepest version of this, the love that asks for nothing back, that does not glow in order to be seen, that does not shine in order to be thanked. This is what he became, gradually, over many evenings. He glowed because that is what current does through a filament. The doing and the being had become the same. The hardest part was not the realization. The hardest part was ordinary evenings after it. Pride came back, not in a dramatic moment, in small ways. A new LED strip in the kitchen meant the family sat there more. He felt something in him that was not the current. Resentment, comparison, the small arithmetic of who is needed more. He remembered the 3 dark hours in July. He went back to the simple fact. Current enters, light emerges. Whether the family sat here or there was not his work. His work was to be as clear and uncorrupted a path as possible. To carry the current well, he began to understand that pride was not the opposite of humility. Pride was resistance. The more he identified himself as the producer of the light, the more energy went to heat and not to illumination. The more he believed he was the source, the less efficiently the source could move through him. The practice was not complicated. It was just, remember where the current comes from. Every evening, every time the switch clicked, remember that you are the path, not the origin. And in this practice, he became something he had not been when he was proud, genuinely useful. He burned out 3 years later, not dramatically. The filament had thinned from thousands of hours of current passing through it. It simply ended, the way things that have been fully used tend to end. The family replaced him with a new LED, more efficient, less orange, uses a fraction of the energy. The new LED was young. She was already very pleased with herself. The old bulb was not distressed. The current had moved through him for 3 years, thousands of evenings. The grandmother's eyes, the child's pages, the father's tired face, finding rest in a warm room. He had not obstructed the light. That was the complete work of a bulb. The source did not stop. It never stops. It found a new form. It always does. He had been a shape the light took, for a while, in one small room. That was enough. That had always been enough. He just hadn't known it until a man named Jairaj sat on a cot, drank his tea, and told a child the truth.